Yo, it's your boy, back at it like a bass addict, out here with my boy in ClearLake Outdoors. Just wanted to get a little rundown of what the fall patterns are right now, see what's going on the lake.
Right now, the fish are kind of wide open. It's not easy. There's a lot of fish out there, and the problem is there's a lot of bait. So you got to kind of, adapt on those bite windows and capitalize on the moments when the fish are kind of, I like to say it, they're dumb, or you can catch them slipping. So when you're out there and you get your line, you get your cast going on that tooling line or those rocks, when the fish are all fired up, you just got to keep making that cast, capitalize on it. And you want to be throwing a broad thing of reaction baits. You want to have a crankbait tight on. LV500 is a great bait this time of year. I like throwing the Evergreen series of crankbaits, mid-diving crankbaits, or mid-diving Lucky Craft, or you can kind of go big. You can throw a big jig, throw a big Texas rig, or a big worm right now. The swim bait bites kind of come in full force. Guys, you catch them on a trash fish. I caught a couple on a tiny clash a couple weeks ago. So fishing's just really good right now. If you got confidence out there, if you like throwing any kind of bait, you can catch fish on it. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you want to come out here and just go out and have fun, it's really, really easy to catch 20 to 23 pounds right now. You could throw a jig and a drop shot in your hand all day and boring fish, but it freaking works. I mean, that's what's winning some of the tournaments even. So if you want to have a hell of a time, this is the time to come out and fish, capitalize on this last kind of month or two before our winter kind of snap happens. Yep. And then, next year will come around, January, February, and we're just gonna, the fish are just gonna be even bigger. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to the bite, and I think it's just gonna get really good in the next couple of years. We're gonna see some big fish. So now's the time to come out. Come out to Clear Lake, come into ClearLake Outdoors. We're here to hook you guys up with everything you need. We got muscle stickers and everything like that, rods and reels. We'd love to take care of you guys and put you in the right direction to get on the best bass, biggest bass of your life.
Oh yeah, they're always on it in here. They got literally anything you want, so.
We're not good at much else but bass fishing, so we like to stay good at what we're good at.
Well, people on my channel, they like bass fishing, so.
That's what we're here for.
Appreciate it, bro.
Of course, my man.
Yo, it's your boy, back at it like a bass addict. And if you can't tell by the scenery, we're up at the big pond, back on Clear Lake. Always excited to be out here just because of how magical it can be, and it's just a beautiful place. But obviously it's the bass factory. It's got giants. It's been pumping them out recently. And as my boy Nino said in the little breakdown in the shop, they're biting a little bit of everything. So just gonna kind of go out here and junk fish, try and figure something out. Kind of got a little bit of a cold snap today. Temperatures dropped off, so it might take them a little bit to warm up, but I'm hoping we can get on some good fish today. And fingers crossed we put together a solid bag. So stay tuned. Got knocked twice. Feel like someone just thumped my line super hard. Fishing this little rocky stretch right here. There's a couple tule points that stick out and some underwater points corresponding to that with some pretty chunky rock on it. So I'm just dragging a jig. See if I can find anybody chilling down there. Already had a couple bumps, but they seemed like they were pecking at it a little bit, so I don't know if they were small fish or just not totally in the mood for that jig yet, but we'll see what they want, figure it out. Look at that, getting a little bit of a drizzle. It's been so freaking hot in NorCal, or like mid-October, and it's still been in the 90s, 80s. So it's nice to finally be cooling off and see some rain. Let's go. I think it's just been throwing off a lot of fish in a lot of lakes. Like, they don't really know if they should be sticking to their summer areas or moving to their fall stuff, or what the real deal is. So I think a lot of lakes have been pretty funky bites, and you just don't really know where the fish are at. So hopefully it starts cooling off, you can kind of track them into their normal fall areas and be a little more patternable. I know up here, these Clear Lake fish, a lot of them are northern strains or hybrids with northern strain in them, so they don't mind that cooler weather. They actually can get really active and start feeding when it starts to cool off. So a lot of those different bites, the A-rig bite, the lipless bite, the jerkbait bite, all that stuff can kind of kick off when that water starts to cool. So it is a good sign. I'm not sure if the first cool day is going to be as magnificent as some of the other ones once it stabilizes, but I think in general the weather cooling off is a good thing for the fishing. No fish yet. It's always just a matter of finding them out here. They can just be a lot of dead water in between, but once you find them, you can get right in a hurry. So I always can stay confident throughout the day, just knowing as soon as I run across some fish, it can all change. So hopefully it doesn't take us too long to find some fish and get some clues. But just gonna cover water right now with some moving baits and see who we run into. I haven't found a ton of bait yet either, which I would like to find. Definitely being around bait this time of year is pretty important, just because those fish are keying on bait fish and trying to feed up. Little rascal. Ate it on the way up. Run that River to Sea Tactical DD. That bait just gets chewed out here. Matt and Tim, they designed that thing on this lake, so you can understand why these fish eat that. But yeah, as soon as that water starts to cool off a little bit, that speed crank just is the deal. Can't wait for that bite to get going. Come on, fish. Come on. Let's get going. About 10 o'clock. My guy Minnow said probably get better around 12, but I'm just hoping maybe they'll get going a little earlier. So they weren't on the docks. Well, not really. I mean, we had that one, but there wasn't much going on over there, so we kind of transitioned over to some of this steeper rock and these bigger boulders, and just gonna crank some of this, maybe drag a jig a little bit and see if they're on this stuff. Just still trying to put the pieces together. First fish of the day on the tactical DD crank. My freaking front camera's not working. I don't know if I got water in it or what, but let's get a weight on her. Definitely looks like a 5. 5.79. $5.79. Now I get this thing to turn on. There's one on the deep crank out here on ClearLake. $5.79. Thanks, Mama. I could not get that camera to turn on, but just caught that big one on the River to Sea Tactical DD. Deep cranking these big boulders. It's a little bend in this rocky bank. It just comes around this corner, and I was just about to go around this guy and just made one more cast, and first it just felt heavy. I wasn't sure if I had a fish, then it just felt head shake, so that's a good sign. Hopefully they're gonna wake up a little bit. But typical Clear Lake fashion, you know, you don't get bit and then you finally catch one and it's a giant. Kind of what I've been hearing recently, like it might be a struggle to get bit, but when you get bit, it's usually a good one. 4+ pounder, so. Good one on the deep crank. Same spot. Just cranking this rocky wall. Cannot keep my other camera on. Another healthy one on the tactical crank. Freaking camera keeps shutting off, but 4 pounder. Getting into them a little bit. Always that game out here. You just gotta find them, get them while they're feeding. Freaking straightened out my hook. Probably should change that. It's like 10 pounds in 2 fish. That's almost more weight than I had my whole freaking tournament. You know, throw on that owner stinger, the 2X. Had these 1X's. I think these are owner ST36s. And obviously you can see that one bent it out pretty good. I was pulling on them pretty hard, so that's probably why it bent, but swap that guy out. Yeah, we'll just leave the little guy on the back. Might just be loaded right here. That's three fish in like 10-15 minutes. That one small one that came off. Might be sacrificing this one. ClearLake won that one. The price you pay cranking some of this gnarly stuff. Little guy on the Shakey Head, little frenzy bait. Frenzy bait's nail with the Z-Man. I don't even know what that thing's called, but little stick bait. Good ones today, man. 3.96. All right. Solid guy. There you go. Got like 3 for 14. Super solid. That one was on the frenzy nail with the Z-Man plastic. And just dragging it on the outside drop of those rocks. I was getting bit on the crank, but it's been a while since I got bit, so switched over to the Shakey. Started getting a couple bites. We're just sitting on this break. It's about 10 or so feet, 9 or so feet where it starts to drop off. And then it goes into deep water where it's a little more bare. So I think they're sitting right on that edge in the rocks, looking out into that, I assume it's like sand or mud or whatever. Probably just waiting for crawfish to crawl around. Oh, there's another bite. Oh my gosh. Tiny guy. What are you doing? Just loaded down there. It's like right when I get to where I start to tick and start to feel it, because at the end of my cast, I'm dragging, it doesn't feel like anything, it's just bare bottom. And then as soon as I start to feel the bump, bump, bump of the rocks, that's when my bites are coming. So that's how I can tell they're sitting right on that edge. And that was the same deal with the crankbait. I was just sitting, had my boat positioned shallow, casting out into deeper water, like 15 feet or so, and then running that edge kind of at a 45. And they were positioned in that same way, just eating a moving bait instead of dragging something. But that, I noticed that boat that left, they were casting at the bank and sitting out a little deeper, so I knew my approach would be a little different, so I should be able to still get some bites if there was fish here. Good one. Kind of shaky. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I think the area that I'm getting most of my bites, zoom in. So there's like these 2 points, slight points in the rock that stick out a little further, and then there's like a little flat spot where the lines aren't as close together. And I think that little hole is a key zone why those fish are stacked up right here. That's my guess, at least. Pick up the swim bait, see if I can't get a bigger bite. on ClearLake, if you get like 3-4 bites in a spot, there's probably 10, 15, 20 fish at least. So I always like to try different stuff, give those fish a different look before I move on, just because it can be so crazy out here. There can just be the mother lode schools. And I don't want to leave fish to go find more fish if there's a good population of them sitting here. So I'm just gonna grind through and see. There's a ton of bait. Look at all that bait. Must be shad or silver sides. I think in a couple of weeks this stretch is going to be freaking loaded because there's all this bait here, and I've caught them here in the winter, and there's already some fish showing up. I think this type of stuff will just get more and more fish as the time goes on because they love to get on that hard structure. There's one. Little guy. Don't get me. Little rascal. Tactical DD. They are starting to chew. That boy Nino was right. He said the afternoon bite much better than the morning bite, and definitely I don't think we got bit till like 11. But it's been good ever since. I mean, off and on, little flurries, but definitely they woke up and started feeding. And I'm just doing that little burn pause, bang it on the bottom. When I hit something hard, I'll pause it real quick and then go back to my retrieve. But just trying to get a reaction strike out of these fish that are sitting near the bottom. I just see that crankbait flying by their face. They either let it go or they eat it. There's no time to look at it or think about it. They just got to decide if they're gonna eat them or not. And probably going over some fish for sure. Like if I had just gone through this whole stretch with the Shakey Head, maybe get more bites, but trying to just cover some water and get some of these active fish, and then I'll turn around and go back through that with the slow moving bait and kind of clean up. Constantly retying on all these baits just because I'm between the rocks. They're definitely holding to that stuff. So to get bit, I gotta get in it, and my line is gonna get frayed up. So just making sure that I retie whenever I feel some funky spots on my line, and then I don't have to worry about breaking off on fish. So always just take that little bit of extra time. And it is well worth it, because there ain't nothing worse than breaking off on fish.